Today on Gamers Couch,
the best of 2015 by very objective standards. So it's officially the best in the world on this couch. The little two-person couch window world. Kind of. This is not going anywhere. Please, take over.
hello and welcome to the couch. This was, I guess, the longest intro ever. Welcome to our review for 2015, our personal end-of-year gift, because our opinions are so important to the world. So we gift them.
What do you mean opinions? What do you mean important? What do you mean world?
I do think that your opinions are important. At least they are to me.
Yeah.
And I hope you share this feeling somehow.
Wait, does it mean other people are seeing this?
Yes?
I thought this
No.
is this not our personal. Oh,
Oh God, where are you going with this? No. Don't go. Oh God. Well, while he straightens. Oh gosh. Well, this starts well. Anyway, we are talking not about the game today, but about our whole year of board gaming 2015, and we go into it minutely. Like no, we don't.
what?
Just kidding. I wanted to scare them. No, we are not. We do have a top 5 and all the different kinds of lists and stuff will happen in a moment. Let me quickly have a little disclaimer. Number 1, if you don't know us and wonder who these weird people are, this is Daniel, my husband. I'm Sarah. I'm the owner of this channel, and we do talk board games every Sunday. Except for today. We talk about mini games, not only one. The other thing, any games that we do talk about for our 2015 top lists are games that not necessarily were released in 2015, but that we bought or played for the first time
We
in
acquired in 2015.
Yes, in 2015. So that might have an older game, but we just got it this year, so it made our list.
And I would say our 2015 kind of starts with December 2014 actually,
Yes.
because we did a similar thing last year, and obviously we did that around this time. So
Yeah.
there might have been a couple of games we picked up at the very end of 2014, which are now part of 2015. But you don't know anyway, so just trust us on when we say we got this in 2015. Now, let's talk about Sorry.
Oh gosh, no. Are you sorry for anything?
No, the game.
No, we don't start at the birth of board games.
This rad new game we got about investment in houses and hotels.
He's talking Monopoly. I don't consider this a board game. It's a tragedy. I don't like it. If you do, I'm sorry. We have a different kind of an opinion here.
So, just to give you a hint what's coming up, we have a list about our top 5. We made these and we don't know what's on each other's list, by the way. So we decided to take the top 5 competitive game and top 5 cooperative game, and also shout out honorable mentions to each of our surprises of the years, disappointments of year.
It's been years.
Disappointments of the year.
And the best gaming moments. We also will have a list of shame that we quickly go over and give you just a broad number of how many games, different kinds of games we played, and how often. Not every single game, I'm not going to go into that, but just give you the broader picture.
Maybe call out some things.
Yeah.
Stand out to us.
Yeah.
So
oh God, we did it at the same time. We moved up to the next level.
I would say we start, since we are so in sync, shall we start with the number 5 cooperative? How do we want to go through these lists?
No, we start with I do have the thing that we have with the rules and gameplay,
Okay.
the sections and everything in the description box. So give me a second to put that in.
Let me drink my coffee.
So we are talking about the top 5 Thanks for screwing up the audio. We are talking about the top 5 of the cooperative games first.
That's what I said.
Yeah, but now, no. You asked, do we want to go in that, like,
It was a rhetorical question.
Oh, I didn't know you were capable of those.
It was a suggestion hidden within a question. So, what's your number
Start.
5?
Co-op?
Yes.
It's a lovely game that we got recommended by a very dear friend from the States. I see if you can guess it. It's, I guess, his favorite game. We played it only a couple of times, and it's called Mage Knight, the co-op mode. We didn't play competitive, so I put it under cooperative.
So why did you put it on 5? Or
because
why is it on that thing for you?
Because there's 4 games that I liked more.
No, I know. I mean, what about Mage Knight was? I mean,
it's a really difficult game, but how to put it? It's one of let me start. Rewind. So I suggested to have a third section. Games that the bulk of the people on the table play against another player, or games that you could play cooperatively and competitively.
Like games with a traitor mechanic.
Yeah, he said no. So I put it under co-op because we played it co-op. I'm very sure it also plays nicely when you play it competitively, but I really liked just the agony that you felt when you couldn't move, or just it's just such a difficult game.
It is. We played a cooperative scenario, so
yeah. So it was so hard that, well, I say I do have 5 more gray hairs because of it. But boy, if we win, this is like me opening a bottle of champagne. So this satisfaction point of this game is awesome.
And I can say the number of items on this list. So I have 24 different games on this list that all qualify as cooperative game. So I really liked it. I'm surprised that you liked it so much, because I was under the impression that might have been a bit too much in terms of systems, interaction.
No,
there's a lot going on.
Yes, it is, but since it's also one of those games where you have a lot of opportunities to do, but you're so limited by what you can do that it's not overwhelming. And
would you agree if I say no, that we just did the video for Big Book of Madness? Would you say that Mage Knight feels like Big Book of Madness for grown-ups?
On steroids, I would say. Yeah, and I didn't put Big Book of Madness on my list because at the point where I put this list together, we only had played it once. And I did not put any games on here that we only played once.
I did put it on my list.
It's on my honorable...
It's not in my top 5.
It's my honorable mention is Big Book of Madness because I really like it. Anyway, so I do like the very challenging kind of cooperative games that really kick you in your butt like a lot of times. I mean, my most favorite game of all time so far is Ghost Stories. Go figure. So Mage Knight.
Well, maybe.
Yeah,
that's in your list. We don't know.
No, it's not. No, it's not, because we didn't buy it this year. I can't have it in my list. Sure. But so Mage Knight feels, or has, makes me feel the same kind of agonizing and really being when we don't make it, and if we win, it's like hee. It's like giddy girl, I don't know, on LSD or something. What's yours? What's your number 5?
I was just to say, I was just surprised that you liked it so much. I was under the impression that you were like, yeah, husband likes these really involved games, and
no, that's what I would say. With husband likes it, so I play it along. Is Crossfire? That's where it happens.
Yeah, okay. So,
what's your number 5?
My number 5 is a game that was recommended by a very good friend.
Don't say it. Really?
It is Vegemite.
Joe, this is to you. God. Yeah, you made it.
If I had to add something to the game, the thing I like about it is that it reminds me of a lot of PC strategy games I used to play in the 90s, stuff like Masters of Magic, and it feels like a Civilization kind of game. It isn't, because you're just moving your one dude across and have the deck building aspect to it, but that you're discovering those world tiles and these little icons on the board mean different things, and you can interact with them. I really like that. If I had to nitpick something like that it is so involved that it really slows down the game, and
I wonder
that
if
is
that's
something that probably goes away if we get a lot of more
yeah,
players in
or
there.
if it might feel a bit different if you play it competitively. But we gotta try that, and at one point we will probably have it on the couch. We didn't have it on the couch yet.
And that being said, we have so far only played it 2 times. I know on this list it says 1, but one was the test game we played. So, and even after that, it made a really strong impression with us.
And spoiler to future maybe Mage Night couch videos. We fucked up the second time that we played it, so we lost badly. But still, it was. Yes, it was. Oh no, we didn't make it. But it's like, yeah, this was a night well spent.
It is still in the range of, okay, we need to get a feeling for the game and get to know one.
Yeah. Okay. So Joe, I hope you're happy. What's your number 4?
So my number 4 revolves around facing certain doom on an island all alone, trying to survive by hunting, exploring, and, well, actually having at least anything that shields you against the weather and having something to eat.
Oh, so it's Robinson Crusoe.
Yeah, my number 4 is Robinson Crusoe. It's a really unforgiving game, but that's kind of what makes it great. The feeling of, well, we finally managed to crack this, and I wouldn't go so far to say I have an urge to replay the scenario we just won kind of again, but I'm still interested in seeing more scenarios and playing more of them, and I just hope that they're as intense in terms of gameplay, but
I guess they are. That
game really bound the entire group to the table, being laser focused and really trying everything. Everybody had to bring their A game to make it through this, and that was very satisfying in doing so. So my number 4 is Robinson Crusoe. And now don't say it's Robinson Crusoe.
No, I'm giggling because for you guys, just as an explanation, I gifted him with Robinson Crusoe for our wedding anniversary this year. So, funny thing, the game that is my number 4, I gifted to you as well, but for the advent calendar.
Oh, I
so the giggle was like, it was one of those that we gifted.
I see. So what is your number 4?
It's also, you're on an island, you try to survive and make it, but you're not alone, per se. You got your best dude with you, and you two have to escape the curse, being Chada and Thorn in Legends of Andor.
I wasn't sure for a moment which island it is this time. But I see.
Yeah, that's my number 4. I really liked it because there's not very many 2-player cooperative games, and only 2-player. Yeah. So that stood out to me this year. I really, really like it. And I mean, I do like the Legends of Andor universe. So yeah, I'm a big sucker for that.
Yeah, that it made my my top 20. It's I like the game, but it's kind of, now that we have played through it, I'm not as eager of going back as with
I
some
wanna
other cooperative
I want to
games.
play the other middle sections of the game. And what really stood out to me was the fact that it's 2-player cooperative game. So that's
I can see that. So good job of again getting into one of our lists, Andor.
Yes.
Because I think last year we had.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess.
don't remember.
Me neither. I didn't rewatch the video.
Good thing that we didn't record anything.
Well, let's hop right into number 3.
Yes. What is your number 3?
My number 3.
Free.
I'm free.
Free
is well, it's 2 things that I really like, which is games that you have to do the association thing, like Concept, for example. But it also has a mystery to be solved.
Okay, I know now what it is.
And one player being the ghost, and the other one being the inspectors, or trying to solve the crime in Mysterion. I really like this game.
Yeah,
it sticks it together with crime stories, and come on.
Yeah, it is. I think that I was certain that it'll be in your top 10 at least, because I know, as you said, you really like the creative association games, and this combined with deduction.
Yeah, I like puzzly games. I like when it comes to computer games, I do like hidden object games and stuff like that. So
there's
right up my alley.
There's another deduction game which I think is on your competitive list. We will find out. But I think there might be another one. We'll see if I'm right.
It might. What's your number 3?
I'm pretty certain that my number 3 is higher on your list, but I'm going to go ahead with it anyway, and that is one of the games we have not finished yet. But it is a game where we, destroy things for real, which is Pandemic Legacy, which I greatly enjoyed, and it just got pushed down to the 3rd place because there's really a lot of real good games coming out this year.
Yes, it was an exceptionally good year for board games.
And in every other year that probably would have made my number 1 spot on the list. I enjoy Pandemic. I'm not super crazy about Pandemic. I don't have to play it like every week, but
I want to finish it.
Yeah, the experience. Well, no, that's not a spoiler, but just to give you an indication, we're halfway through the storyline of the game, and it's just
almost halfway. We're in May.
Yeah,
June would be halfway. I'm being a jackass, I know.
But we even so far, this really makes the game interesting, and you're really curious to see what's going to happen next, and your dudes are getting cooler and better, and it's a great game. And,
yes.
I would. That is one of the more involved cooperative games that I even would go so far to recommend to someone who maybe is not that big of a board gamer, because it also has the advantage of easing you into more and more complex rules, which is terrible if you haven't played the game for some time and have to read up all the things that were introduced in a... Sometimes I wish we would record like some previously on, as in a TV show, that would help. And here's the rules from last time, but maybe that's in season 2 of Pandemic. There's a little card coming with each thing that starts explaining to you again, like a reference, or whatever.
Or you just gotta have 2 days that you're not doing anything except ordering food and having the toilet near the gaming room, and then you just play the whole game through, like in one go.
Okay.
But what's your number 2? Now I'm curious because I thought that would be higher on your list.
Yeah. My number 2 is, in terms of what we played, the most recent edition, and
no.
And
that was
in this,
another one.
at least in this list, since
yeah.
since we literally just cracked it open and got one play in there, and I really like this game, and that's Kingdom Death Monster. And please don't go there and say, terrible adult theme. I don't care about your opinion. Well, no, I don't care about your opinion. Let's be honest. No, I really like the art style and the gameplay that is behind that. And
Yeah, it's
if
gorgeous
you,
just to look at.
if you stumbled across any kind of opinions on this, yes, it is true. This is kind of the Souls series, like Demon Souls, Dark Souls, video game combined with Monster Hunter. And those are, I really like both of those.
Yeah, I
And
was just
this
about
is-
to ask what's not to like about that.
And I like the really dark horror theme, and usually the horror games, or if a game has a horror theme, it is more of a goofy kind of thing, or zombies, because
Or
zombies
Cthulhu.
are automatically horror. Yeah, but that really doesn't get this across. This gets and Kingdom Death has some imagery that is meant to feel you make you feel uncomfortable, and it does that, which is, yeah, you have to kind of go all out on to get there in your graphics department, and I totally understand if someone's not fine with that or is.
Then it's just
Get
not
out.
the game for you. I mean,
Yeah,
not every game has to be for everybody.
I'm pretty sure that this game on a mechanics thing would also really work with any other theme. So maybe you're lucky and it comes out with some other theme at some point. I don't think so, but yeah, it's an incredible game, and at least so far, I'm really I want to see how it goes further. What's up next? How the story develops. What new things will come up and do all that.
Yeah.
So you're number 2.
Well, my number 2 would have been my number 1 in any other year, or if in that same year my number 1 wouldn't have been released or published or whatever you want to say. It's one of my favorite kind of games anyway, and it hurt my heart and brain so badly the first time we played, because you gotta rip apart board game components. You gotta rip them and destroy them. Oh, I'm way finer. I'm fine with it now, but first time it's like, no, this is so horrible to do. But the game requires it, so Pandemic Legacy makes you not only deal with very weird stuff during the game, but it also makes you deal with destroying board game components. And I really like the Pandemic games. I mean, yeah.
And now I'm very certain that
We have both the same number 1.
The same number 1. So let's
say it on 3.
Yeah, we do 1, 2, 3, and then we say it.
Yeah, because I gotta say 3, and then we gotta say, okay,
1,
1, 2, 3.
The
Time
game.
Story.
No, it's Time Stories.
You bastard. I'm sorry, guys. He's been like that all day long. It's like, oof, really hurting my brain. Yeah. Goddamn, I'm in love with that game.
Yeah,
I do love Time Stories.
And
It's awesome.
I was really so. If I had to make a game about best games ever, probably Time Stories would have not gotten ahead of Kingdom Death or Pandemic Legacy or some of the other games, because it doesn't have that replayability. I'm pretty sure we won't be playing the Asylum and the Marcy case ever
Maybe
again.
we get Amnesia, and then we can play it
maybe.
again.
But that being said, I kind of went into this list and thought about, okay, what game had the most impact this year on an emotional level, and Time Stories is specifically the Asylum case, and we talked about this in our review.
Mm-hmm.
That moment that finally we found out how to solve that thing, that actually made me feel really smart in that moment. And
I was in awe when we played
Yeah.
this, the first case, and you gotta you get to know the game, the mechanics, the way it progresses, all of that. It's like we said in our review, it's a choose your own adventure book, but made into a board game, and that's awesome. That was new to me that you could translate it so well, and so. It really grasps you. You want to know. You want to play the next round right away. And fuck, you got to go to work next morning. And it's 3 a.m. already. And so you got to catch some sleep. But I want to play. So we really had that feeling. And that was just... yeah.
Yep. It's a tremendous game. And yes, it is very heavily story based, so you have to like that. And I think with story based games, even more so than with more mechanics focused games, it could be your cup of tea. Maybe the theme is or isn't your cup of tea. In Time Stories, in that case, the two things that got released both are very fine with me, and I like them both. I like Asylum more a little bit than Marcy Case.
I was just about to ask. Same here.
But I like the puzzly thing more than the combat thing. So Marcy Case is a little bit more combat focused than the Asylum. But both are perfectly fine. Both had us sitting there trying to remember what do we remember from the last run through or the last couple of run throughs. And that game is actually the only game where a good friend of ours made it to drive over here through the week, through all the traffic. And
it was horrible. 1.5 hours in traffic just to get here to play the Marcy
Just to get here to play the game, even though he had to go to work next time, which is, I don't know any other game he had ever done that for. So, I think very well deserved first.
Yes, and I'm really, really looking forward to the new releases.
Yes.
I mean, it's I guess well known on the internet by now that every game has another designer, a different kind of a designer, or not even not only artwork, but like game mechanic structure kind of things. So what I'm really curious what I've seen is
they certainly had different graphics designers.
Yes,
and I think the core gameplay designer is also always working on these games. But I think there's also other guys. But regardless, they managed to make those things feel so different and evoke a different theme. It's almost like you're playing a different game. It is. I think the closest I can compare this to in that aspect is way back then, kids. Let me tell you, there was a role-playing system called GURPS, which is like a general role-playing system, which could then have different themes applied to them, and you could either make a cyberpunk role-playing game out of that, or a fantasy role-playing game. Oh my god! Hopefully, there's a cyberpunk Time Stories.
Oh, that would be awesome.
And I know someone else who would be very happy to see a steampunk. And I'm really looking forward to these. And I hope that they can keep bringing out these things on a quarterly basis. I'm pretty sure we will pick them. They really have to screw up 2 or 3 in a row to kind of
not make us maybe buy.
Now make me don't care about this game. So I'm really looking forward to more.
Yeah. What are your honorable mentions? Because I already said mine again. Repeating, Big Book of Madness.
Yeah, Big Book of Madness got pretty high. It's actually on my number 7. Sentinels. We got an expansion for that during this year, and that is still one of those games that will stay around here a long time, just because it is so diverse with so many different things, and just so many modules that it makes that randomized aspect. It makes for an interesting game, although it has a lot of busy work with all those counters and bookkeeping going on. I'm looking at this. Well, yours, Mysterium and Charter, are both around my 15, 16 spot, and I just realized that I may have some games on here that were actually acquired before 2015, because someone gave me the full list of what we played this year.
You have to remember.
Yeah, that's. I think that covers it. Dead of Winter is pretty much high up there, and is. I think Dead of Winter and Battlestar Galactica are, although we haven't played Battlestar Galactica in quite some time, but they're my kind of favorite cooperative games. Although Battlestar has a guaranteed traitor in it, and that's why it wouldn't be on this list anyway, but Dead of Winter does not necessarily have a guaranteed traitor on there. So that's why I put it on this list, or not on the competitive, but it is still. I really like games with a traitor element in there, with people having a real cooperative challenge, and then that kind of intrigue thing going on.
Yeah. So shall we hop into the competitive top fives? You start this time. I started last time.
Okay. So my number 5 is a game that was recommended by a dear friend of ours, and I had to acquire at Essen.
Are you saying Mage Knight again?
No, I'm...
Okay.
It is about the more, fun sides of life. Getting intoxicated and actually trying to make more of the stuff to get intoxicated, which would be Viticulture, which is a game about, getting wine. And a good friend of ours said, well, this is really good. Actually, he kind of annoyed me regularly and said, you must play this game. It is the best. It is super awesome. So I picked up the Essentials edition at Essen and we played it, and I kind of knew that someone here who really likes wine would say, this is a theme I can identify with. And then we played it, and I also very much, I like the flow of gameplay, and I think we haven't talked about Viticulture in a video at all.
Not yet.
Not to spoil too much if we ever do that, but I like that flow of you have to get the crops done, and then you move them around the board to distill kind of your wine at the end and try to sell them. I like that entire workflow, and due to the theme, it all makes sense. It all is very connected to each other, and it is a very solid game. Really nice components. I like the look of the game. It's a lot of fun in the box, and I can say that it even beat another Euro game I really like in this list, which would have been Orléans.
Yep.
And that's my number 5. So if
you're higher than Orléans as well on my list.
So if you're,
I'm not saying that it does the honorable mentions, but it's higher than Orléans.
So if you're now starting your number 5 with, this is a game that my husband got recommended by a good friend of ours.
No, I do have a different kind of a game there.
Okay, then please. I'm surprised. Well, maybe it's higher on your list. We will find out, I guess.
So, my number 5 is one of those games as well where a bunch of people on the table play against another one. And it did not go for the cooperative list, but onto the competitive list, because there's always one opponent, even in a 2-player game. It's the only game, if I remember correctly, where we played the whole campaign this year.
Now I know what it is.
And it's very fitting with The Force Awakens, which came out this year as well. So Imperial Assault's got played a lot. Like the whole campaign plus a bit of 2-player with a different kind of campaign. And we had so much fun with it. One thing that made this game even more incredible than it already is the beautiful, beautiful minis that you painted very, very well. So thanks for that nice look on the table.
I have
awesome.
to say, without indulging myself too much into the tapping on shoulder department,
they were really good.
From those that I painted, I started now painting the Kingdom Death Star. Those I really like, but those minis are very detailed. But in terms of paint jobs so far, yeah,
Imperial is
ones,
the best one
because I really
so
try to make them look like the things what they look like on the cards.
And you weren't as frustrated as you were with the most recent paint job. So I just felt that they had a lot of detail, but not too much.
And that was a real crunch period because I kind of painted them, I think, within a month or two. Or so.
So that was just the cherry on top, but I do love this game. Though you really made me almost angry cry or throw all kinds of colorful curses at you when you made it so hard for me to go through my character's campaign scenario. Fucked up. Still to this day, it's like, meh! But yeah, he just did his job as the Empire, and it was the first time that I didn't play the Empire in a Star Wars game first. So yeah, I had to give up that as well. But yeah, lovely, lovely game. And number 5.
I would have assumed that this is at least in your top 10 or at least very high up. Okay. Then
what's
your number 4?
My number 4. So my number 4 revolves around something that I do really, really love, and that I'm quite knowledgeable about, I have to say, because I spent a whole summer vacation on a vineyard and learned how to make wine, and even learned how to differentiate white wine from red wine by just looking at the leaves of the grapes, not the fruit itself. So yeah, viticulture was pretty much just right up my alley. Just from the theme, I also just really like the Euro style worker placement kind of thing. And it did beat Orléans, which was... like, I cried a tear for it because I really like Orléans. But, I mean, yeah, winemaking, come on. Ancient France, winemaking, winemaking. That's the theme there did top it. And it's funny fact, or just me being so knowledgeable. The gameplay routine very, very much resembles the real way to do to make wines. It's very, very close to real life winemaking in terms of progress and process and stuff.
When you just started saying it is about something I am very knowledgeable about, I thought of a different game, which I realized is not on this list, or at least on the list of games we played that you sent me.
Why?
Fresco.
Yeah, it's not, because it was that list was compiled before I got my advent calendar, which is Fresco, which is about painting.
Because when you started, I think, oh, okay, but yeah.
We just played it once, and I don't have any games on my list that we just have played once.
Sure enough. Well,
they're kind of in the honorable mentions, but they're not on my list. So what's your number 4?
My number 4 is the game I am certain that is the furthest on the scale for me when I want to strangle someone. Actually, multiple people at the table at the same time. And that is actually the reason why it is there. Because although I don't necessarily prefer frustrating games over anything else, the tension that arises from that during gameplay is that. And it is, since we were on a wizard's couch for quite some time in the last video, this is fitting to that, because it is about witches delivering potions. which would be Broom Service. And I very much enjoy that mechanic of playing cards either bravely or cowardly. And I think it is a great game because of the interactions with all the other peoples around, you. Despite it looking as a Euro pickup and delivery style game, and those cards really spice up the game. I very much enjoy that.
We had a lot of laughs at that.
Yeah.
When playing.
I think it very, very much brings out the tension that a poker game would kind of bring out in terms of, is he bluffing? What does he have anything? Is he saying that? And that is a game that actually benefits from having a bit more players around.
Yes.
And
very much. Full set is awesome.
So my number 4 would be Broom Service.
Wonderful. Then we can hop right into the top 3. What's your number 3?
My number 3. My number Willy.
Oh gosh.
Free Willy.
Mm-hmm.
My number 3, similar to The Force Awakens, happens in a galaxy, and it is a very round galaxy because everybody's rolling. It's a roll for the galaxy, which also, weirdly enough, I acquired the expansion first because a good friend of ours said, this is a really good game, you should get it. And then
we trust our friends.
And then the core game wasn't available, so I had to order the core game after I bought the expansion at Essen on the way, bringing the expansion to the car to store it away. And yeah, it's... dice rolling is cool. I very much like the phase selection thing about that. Trying to read other players, and I think that is, when it comes to competitive games, the trying to read other players aspects, I very much enjoy that about games, or that is one of the things that really draws my attention for a lot of the games that I very much like. And also, though, all those different little tiles and different abilities go right into my other like of, you have to work with what you're getting and try to make the best out of that. So yeah, I like that very much.
That's wonderful. You saying reading other people is also a very big factor in my number 3.
Oh, then it's probably, is it the deduction game I was hinting at earlier?
Maybe. There's another deduction game in the honorable mentions. So, it's Codenames. Is my number 3 because you really have to read the hint giver and get maybe any double meaning or inside jokes or whatever to have the best outcome for your team. And I just really love it. And again, it's association, so yeah, it's pretty much Mysterium for competitive style there. And I really like it. So yeah, that's my number 3. And it's a lot of words. I do like words. And he doesn't play Scrabble with me more than once a year. So yeah. Were you surprised? Did you did you estimate the other deduction game?
No, Codenames is not a deduction game for me.
Well, it is. I have to deduce all the shit that you don't mean when you're my partner in crime, in agent crime, whatever. So yeah, I'm just hopping right into number 2.
Sure.
On my list. And this one did not make number 1 because it's missing one thing. And if it had that, it would have gotten to number 1. Which is dice. The other one won because of the dice. So my number 2 is playing right up my alley because of my love for history and agriculture, architecture, and me being very knowledgeable again and teaching him a few things. And while you do that, you're on a duel for the 7 Wonders. So yeah, 7 Wonders duel is my number 2 because I really like this one. Though it's also from my favorite designer, it did not make number 1 because of not having the dice, and the other one has. So I had to have it on number 2 only, which bugged me big time, but yeah, no choice there. Surprised?
No, not really. It is a little bit higher up on my list. So
So it would be number 1 on yours.
All the competitive games we played this year were about 70-ish, and this will be my 30 range. And then this is not, we didn't pick up 70 games this year, but that's all the games we played. At least to credible scribe sitting next to me.
I can ride.
Yeah, but through all those, and there's obviously older games so that are very much like that is in the higher 20s. I do like the Seven Wonders a bit more than Duel.
Duels? I can't really decide.
In general, if I can choose between 2 players or more players, I would always go for more players because it's just fun having more people at the table.
But look from my perspective, I can play with you. And only you. You belong to me. You're my opponent. And so the 2 players find yes.
Oh, okay.
The 2 player, that's why the 2 player is number 2 and Seven Wonders isn't. I mean, come on, it's the biggest compliment I can make. He didn't get it. He's not romantic. So what's your number 2? Tell me.
My number 2 is tightly or very closely tied to my enjoyment of thinking around corners and trying to make either awful puns or giving hints at things that sound like or are similar and have already been mentioned, which would be Codenames, which is a game I actually like being the spy master
a bit and he's more really good at it
than on being on the guessing side, although it doesn't matter. It's
that's why we always lost when I was the hint giver.
No,
you didn't
it's
didn't
not my
put in
fault.
an effort.
So it's just a wonderful game to play, even with people. It's a party game, but it really gets your gears going, trying to figure out how can I go for these high count hints. And it feels amazing then saying a hint and hinting at 4 or 5 cards, and at least if some other player gets 3 or 4 of those correct, and we're on a roll. Our minds are linked.
We are synced. We have a chip in our hand and we are synced.
So I'll continue with my number 1.
Yes, please.
Which has been already mentioned by you. Because I like being terrible.
To me.
To everybody on the table. It's Imperial Assault. It's
if you didn't guess it.
And for the reason you said it's the only game we played through the entire campaign.
Plus the 2 of us playing
and
few more scenarios.
And got our whole gaming group really go through with that on almost every weekend, and everybody's looking forward to that. Everybody was excited to see what the next campaign thing is doing. It combines things I very much like. Chucking dice, having tactical decisions, a bit of storytelling, really cool looking minis, and not just because they're painted, but they're just
the raw material was also really cool.
The entire thing already. And the boards look cool, and yeah, it's a really fun game, and that's why it made certainly my number 1 spot for this year.
Yeah, well,
that's just the campaign.
Yeah,
and
we didn't play
the skirmish yet. Ones. So.
Yeah, so even with that, it makes us number 1. So you can estimate how good it is if you haven't played it. Funny enough, my number 1 also takes place in space. And with the hint that I gave with the dice, it's Roll for the Galaxy. I mean, I really had a hard time deciding between number 1 and number 2 at that, because number 1, Roll for the Galaxy, it has dice, for God's sake. I mean, yeah, that's always good for me. But number 2 was from my favorite designer, so it's like, oh gosh, which child do I love more? And I pretty much just said left, right hand, and just I don't know, threw one hand up. It's like, oh, okay, so this is number 1, so this is number 2 then. I was actually thinking about maybe I should skip spot number 2 and just have both of them at number 1. But then we didn't discuss that beforehand if that was okay for the list, so I just made one being spot number 2 instead of both being number 1. But I really, really like Roll for the Galaxy. The reading the other players, cursing at your dice if they do not have the right face up, like all the time.
But you can still do something. So
yes, you're never stuck, and I love that, because then my Wheaton disease of rolling dice badly when it really counts isn't that critical with this game.
And,
so I really
and
like
at least for me, I straight up included the Ambition expansion, because that just feels like more Roll for the Galaxy to me. I mean, we talked about this in a video, so I won't go into it. But
what are your honorable mentions, my dear?
So almost the top 5, although we just played that once, made Sheriff of Nottingham, which was on our Advent calendar. But I just said what I like about games, and this is kind of the reading other people. I also very much, and in the top 10 is The Bloody Inn, which is...
That's spot number 6 on my list.
And I can just go through this. There's Orléans on there in the next five spots, and the number 10 spot is still Love Letter, because that is
really?
That is not a game that we acquired this year, but I just went through my entire list and sorted it, and most games are kind of filtered by this year, but Love Letter is still a game that is high on my list, and it's still one of the games that is close to being almost played the most.
Yes, it's a dinner game, so come on. Yeah, well, on my list there is also Spectre Ops, CS Files, and Automania.
So Spectre Ops is on my 7. CS Files is 11. I mean, with
Spectre Ops is number 7, yeah.
With
CS Files is number 8.
With deduction games, I was fairly certain that CS Files would make your top 5.
Yeah, but we played it only once, so I had to exclude it from the...
Well, we played it a couple of times. We played a couple of rounds of it.
Yeah,
with complete strangers. They were nice sometimes, but they...
Only if you were not the murderer, they were nice.
No, it's that was a great game for giving a glimpse into what other people are thinking.
Yes, and I always like these kind of games, playing them when you meet somebody new, because it makes it really easy to get to know somebody without them having maybe their shields up.
We also haven't talked about that.
Not yet.
So if you're not familiar with CS Files, think of it as a crossover between a game like Mysterium or Dixit, where you give hints but are not allowed to talk, so you have to give indirect hints through keywords that are on the table that you can point at or give a little marker on that. As well as a traitor game like The Resistance or Werewolf, where you have all the people trying to figure out who murdered whom with what, and multiple options are on the table, and one guy has to be kind of he's the forensic dude who gives hints, and the other players have to find out who's the murderer, but the murderer is part of those people, so he or she can try to throw the others off his or her tail and make an argument for a different thing. It's a very, very cool version of that, and I very much like Resistance and Avalon or similar games like that, but I think CS Files is my number one game in that category.
Yes,
for
very much so.
that.
So far, yeah. Yeah. So let's go to the next category.
By the way,
Sorry.
Shortly after CS5 would have been Elysium, which also was nominated for the Kennerspiel.
Yeah, Kennerspiel.
Another game we haven't played as often for some reason, but I really enjoy it because
it could have had something to do with so many games being acquired this year.
It is crazy.
You will hear it when we go to the list of shame.
Yeah.
Yeah. But let's hop into the
surprises.
Yes.
And I'd like to start because
Go.
My surprises are shortly named because
I only have 2.
In competitive games, my surprises for the year were Codenames and CS Files. And Codenames specifically because I haven't looked or seen anything about Codenames prior to Essen.
No.
We were just wandering around and went by the Vlada booth, or otherwise known as CGE Games, and just saw, well, it's a new party game from Vlada. It looks nice. Let's just give it a try.
We weren't disappointed with any of his earlier games, so we should be good.
And it looked simple, and we just picked it up
that a surprise
on the spot right there, because and again, something, I mean, we played with a group of Dutch guys we didn't know, and even then greatly enjoyed it, although we kind of tried to do the Codenames deduction analysis hint giving game in English with 2 of, I think, a total of 5 non-native speakers at the table, and still had a great time. It was a very very pleasant surprise.
It's on my list as well, because it didn't look like much when you brought it home. Like, the box doesn't give you a clue of what big amount of delight is in that box, but boy, is it a great game. So that was one of the surprises this year for me as well.
CS Files being the other one, and I think it's known under another name, Murder in Hong Kong or something like that. It doesn't matter. That was a surprise because that went onto my pick this up, take a look at least at it games for Sarah, because I just saw, I think, on the Dice Tower kind of pre-Essen list that one of these guys mentioned, and it's a deduction game, it's looking good, and I didn't actually know that it is a traitor game kind of first. I was going in expecting something like Mysterium, but being the combination of Mysterium and Resistance, which are both games I do like, is that was a very very pleasant surprise, and
it was.
I haven't seen that much buzz around that game so far. Although I didn't look for it either. But that is certainly a game we will bring out a couple more times whenever we have more than 4, more than 5 folks around.
Yeah. So my other surprise was that we bought a game at the warm-up for Spiel.
Oh.
So I didn't have that on our agenda at all.
We didn't buy that at the warm-up, by the way, because you're not allowed to sell games at the warm-up.
It is outside, but warm-up evening.
Someone had to walk through the rain with the designer to kind of shadily exchange money for games.
In dark corners and the game. So, that was a surprise. And the years before, we played either games that would be shown or sold at the fair only, or maybe test play a game from a designer that was there to show his work to publishing companies, but we didn't have a game that was already done and complete and produced and ready to be sold by I'd categorize it as an indie game company. So that was really fun. And then the game itself is just something that also interests me, like topic-wise. So it's I call it sociopolitics. So anything doing with humanity and the dark things of humanity, money and politics. So yeah, that was just a very big surprise that I didn't expect that at all. Actually,
so that was a lot of picks.
Lord of the Picks by 2 Tomatoes.
I have a surprise on the cooperative list still.
I didn't. I have no more surprises.
But no. I feel bad because that was a surprise too. But this one feels like a cop out because Time Stories also got my surprise slot on that. Simply because all I knew about Time Stories is it's a game about time travel, and that sounds interesting in and of itself. Although I know that there are not many games about time travel that are actually any good. And then we went to Essen, and I just made sure I pick it up to take a look at it later, and then kind of got thinking about there's a shut off booth where people can playtest it, and it's closed off because people don't want to spoil it for all the other. Maybe there's something to that that's interesting, and then I looked a little bit more into how this works, and it sounded really interesting. And then it being that amazing, I think that surprise or that pleasant surprise goes into that game for me at least having no hype at all attached to it, and then being like this, wow, this is. Otherwise, it might have been Pandemic Legacy, but I was aware of the legacy system for Risk, and I went into that and being curious, being eager to try it out and see how it works. And it's a great game, but it didn't surprise me with being that great. Actually, so far it's been pretty predictable in terms of what's going on.
Oh, we're going to talk about that in the Pandemic Legacy video on this channel at one point. But just a note here, I didn't divide my surprises or disappointments into competitive or cooperative. Fine. I just meant what was I surprised by, and these were the 2 games, because I did not expect them at all.
I just went with 3 surprises and 3
disappointments,
which is our next list.
And I have 2 because I only have 2 surprises.
Shall I start with 1?
Yes, please. No, I have 3. Oh, I'm sorry. I just look it up. Okay, I have more disappointments.
Then you may start with the disappointments and let us know what your first one is.
The first one or the third one?
I haven't ranked mine.
Oh, okay, good.
I can tell you it is 1 cooperative game and 2 competitive games. If that helps you anything.
Yeah, kind of the same. My first disappointment, I rated them by how much I was disappointed. The least amount of disappointment came with the Machikoro Harbor expansion. Because I expected something else, I think. It's not that it's bad, but from an expansion that says in the ads that it would change up things or add mechanics to it. No. It's just more of the same with different kinds of cards.
I was thinking about that one.
And I was like, oh no. Because I like Machikoro, but I don't need the expansion for that. I could play it without. I'm sorry.
So I didn't put that onto my disappointments list because for me that wasn't as much as a disappointment, but more the realization that this game might not be for me. Although we talked about this, and on paper I see the things it does. And I really like it, but it's just the realization that it's so luck-based.
You know, I was disappointed because remember back when we talked about the games at the couch that were nominated for the Spiel des Jahres? Mm-hmm. And I said I wanted Machikoro to win.
Yeah, me too.
So, which means I really like that game. And then with again, the ad saying, hey, there's something more and something new to the game. I expected with the expansion that maybe some slight mechanic twist or something that would not keep me roll dice for 8 rounds and not being able to do anything would be resolved, maybe.
And we haven't shot a couch about this, but the expansion, I think, if I'm informed correctly, and please flame me away in the comments if I'm wrong, but I think the German expansion actually includes 2 expansions from the US, which would be the harbor, and the other is the town. Something?
Yeah, the town with the German sushi one is restaurant.
The German one is just called the harbor expansion, but I think it is actually 2 expansions.
Yeah, so I was kind of disappointed and actually just saddened that there wasn't more to the expansion. So yeah, but it's again the least amount of disappointment that happened for me in board gaming this year.
Although I have to say, if I want to play Machikoro, I actually want to play with the expansion just to have more different buildings available.
True, still it doesn't resolve the you roll for 8 rounds and can't do anything.
Yeah, well,
which we talked about, and after we played with the expansion, we all 3 of us said, well, it drags out that thing only longer. So I'm sorry, Cosmos. I really wanted to like it.
Now I'm going to cheat a little bit.
What?
My disappointing game is one that we picked up last year at Essen, and still haven't gotten around to make a video because we're kind of played it once, twice, and were meh about it, and didn't go too much into it, and that is Redacted. But we kind of tried to play through this year and to get a video done, and every time we played this, I was again one of those games. On paper, sounds amazing with agents and secret intel going back and forth, and you don't know whom you're working with, trying to read other people. Exactly what I said. I think where I was disappointed, or what I was disappointed by, is that stone, scissors, what is it called? Rock, paper, scissors combat system that's in there.
Lizard Spock?
Which I think could have been solved more elegantly, because we found, first of all, the rule book is terrible.
Yeah.
There's bad rule books, and there's actually one game that we could have made actually the full disappointment list by one, because I would go so far to say it has no rule book at all, but I'm refraining from judgment because A, that was a Kickstarter game, and B, that I still have hope in me that there someday will release a manual that is actually comprehensible and does explain all the rules of the game, and not just the shadow, which would be Rise of the Kage, which is still sitting somewhere in a shelf here. Redacted. That is just a frustrating rulebook, because it has the information, but it is so poorly structured that it is annoying, and I don't like annoying rulebooks at all. And that kind of, I don't want to linger too much on that. But
yeah, well, my number 2 at that point was the game. I'm at the point that I'm making fun of it, but I was disappointed because usually the nominees for the Spiel des Jahres, not even talking about Kennerspiel, but just the usual Spiel des Jahres, are not a remake of Solitaire and bring something to the table that is not ancient in the board game universe. If I want to play Solitaire, I take a deck of 52 cards or how many ever, and I play Solitaire. Why do I have to buy the game and be deceived by the cover of the box, which does
Right.
not really suggest that it is just
It's
numbers.
an unfortunate thing.
Yeah.
Although
Yeah.
that,
I was disappointed by that because I thought, hey, that looks the box looks kind of mysterious, and maybe it's just something that we didn't have on our radar, and then we found out that we were not supposed to have it on our radar because, yeah.
Do you think that the game being nominated for Spiel des Jahres?
That's I still can't understand it.
No, do you think that contributed the kind of hype of hey, this is a game nominated, it certainly has to be good, or
because usually they are. Usually the journalists putting together that list aren't that far off.
Well, they're supposed to be family friendly, and
yes,
and
but then again, it is solitaire with more than I don't know, 13 cards in one row. So it's like, yeah, well, there's nothing new with the mechanics. It's nothing fancy with the theme. It's nothing where I say, yeah, this brings people into board gaming. Because this is actually just passing time. It's not a game. I wouldn't consider this a game experience in any kind of a game universe. This is just stacking cards from left to right. And I mean, I'm very, very sorry if I crush that game again, but you could read a book and you probably have a better time with it. That's how low I consider this to be a game. I mean,
I would agree there and say that
it's in the Monopoly universe.
It probably might have fared better if not Hanabi had come out just a year prior and won. Well,
and had a cool twist to that.
And kind of, it felt like this is a very
cheaply done replica
of that.
Yeah,
and that's also why it's my disappointment on the cooperative game list.
Yeah,
and then I realized for me, I was really interested in another cooperative game that made the Spiel des Jahres list.
It sounded so good, and it just wasn't.
Otherwise, I would have said, well, it's one of those million card games that come around Essen and just aren't very good.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't. Since me just going into the rage crushing that game being really bad, I have something worse. And that is what he already mentioned. It is the manual of Rise of the Cage. Cage, whatever you spell it. Damn, did I want to like that game, because the board and the minis, and from what we grasped from the manual, it looked really good and it has so much potential, but goddamn, bring the real manual, make it playable.
And seeing what other people on Vita, because I mean the phases of board game denial or grief are always first get annoyed, second get enraged, third go to Board Game Geek, try to look up things that you might have done wrong, and just seeing that
everybody else is just at the same point, stuck.
And even more frustrating, seeing that other people who have played this on cons or events and have gotten the rule introduction by the designer, saying, "Hey, we didn't have this. This is totally super cool when we played." And
we want to have that experience too. So please make a real manual for it. We want to play it.
Or we just wait for some version that sounds like house rulings and works out.
That was so frustrating. I mean, and you saying, it was a Kickstarter game. Come on.
Yeah,
this is not a reason to have such a shitty manual.
I can totally agree to that being a disappointment, but that's not only is it their first Kickstarter game, but they had already a different miniatures game called, I think, Bushido, and that is the board game in that realm. And that kind of also leads into that, because I was thinking of they already made a game. So it's not their first game, but I think it's their first board game. So, and Kickstarter is, well...
Yeah, but that's not an excuse for putting... I mean, very sorry to go on this tangent here. If I only produce shitty artwork and make you pay a lot of money for it, this is not me doing a good job either. So if you get money for it and people want your product, make it right in the first place. Or if you screw up with the manual, which could happen, and I would excuse it if you make either a video or a FAQ page or something once you realize, hey, people cannot understand my manual. Make it right. Show it. Go meet somebody at a con, explain the game to them, and ask them, can you write the manual for me? That would be totally acceptable as well. I would say, thank you, and now I can enjoy a great game. But not like that. Sorry, not if there's exchange of those green dollar thingies involved. It's like, not an excuse. Sorry. So, biggest disappointment, I was really sad because I like the samurais and I like the story and the board looks gorgeous and I so badly want to play it, and everybody was disappointed. Even and the most generous people at our table were very disappointed.
And we in our group of friends, a lot of people like stealth games,
yes.
At least video games in terms of like stuff like Metal Gear Solid or Splinter Cell. And
such a missed opportunity to like have a fandom.
That came out and Spectre Ops came out and kind of Spectre Ops delivered, and this was like, it sounds good on paper. What I'm doing wrong, and that is always, at least for me, it's a bad sign if I start to think about am I doing wrong that this game is so annoying. And
So again, it's not hatred. I desperately want to play this game. I'm very disappointed that I'm not enabled, because I actually like the idea of that game, from what I grasped from the manual. But we also didn't have disappointments and bad stuff going on. We also had the best gaming moments this year, and we compiled them.
Well, I compiled exactly one moment.
Because you went literal with the word best? Yes. I told you could make best, bestest, the best, the best, best.
No, it's that, but that is genuinely for this year the best thing that happened in our gaming space.
Okay, then you go first, because I'm gotten curious.
It is over there, and you haven't seen it because we're taping this on the couch. It is the table we play on, because after several years of waiting, and
3 to be exact.
Yes, we're here in Germany. Our Geek Chic table got delivered, and it's such a joy
awesome.
to have this big luxurious table, and I realized that not everybody specifically in Europe is doing that, but they are now more affordable and more regional alternatives there, and I think nothing beats having a nice gaming space because that elevates every game and makes it better, and after those long wait time, I still would do it again because I'm really happy with that. And that is not my bias justification. Well, probably is, but it is.
Again, bank account.
It is. That is in anything that is gaming related. I think that is the biggest positive force that happened there, because it made every game we played a lot better.
Yeah, nicely said. Well, I'm less materialistic, more on the moments.
Okay, then moment away.
I'm moment away. They're not in a specific order from best to bestest, so I just quickly name them.
So the first is the worst.
No, they're all the best, because I couldn't decide. Number 1, and for different kinds of reasons. Number 1 is the gaming night with Steve and Shelly. Shelly, right? Sherry? Sherry, not Shelly. I watched too much Big Bang Theory today. So, no, with Steve and Friends, why do I not read it as I...
And Peter.
Peter, yes, I didn't forget him. But after Spiel, last day of Spiel, they came over, And we played a couple of games. We met them for the second/first time. We knew Steve, so we met him again, but the other two lovely peoples we didn't know before. And we played CS Files, and we played Orleans.
We got schooled by the game designer, not of Orleans, but a game designer.
Yeah,
so
and it was just,
that doesn't count.
Yeah, it's just... And I mean, you probably saw it a couple of videos back when, if you already are subscribed to this lovely channel, I had a goddamn any curse word migraine for Spiel and couldn't go for most of the time. So it was really lovely that I pretty much got Spiel at my house. At least get some of the experience that I usually have during Spiel, which is meeting people from all over the globe that we rarely see, and I'm looking forward to that every year. So yeah, it was just nice to meet them / see them again and play games. It's like, yeah. So that was one of the best moments. The other one is...
Good pick.
Thank you.
I have to agree.
Thank you.
I would have picked that if I weren't so materialistic.
Yeah, one of us has to be. So I'm being the emo.
Materialistisch. See, in German, it's way easier.
Yeah. So the second coolest moment has kind of an aftertaste, like the bad comes with the good, or other way around. So when we go into the list of the games that we played and talk a bit about like throughout the year, you might be surprised that the game of Uno and Quirkle are so high up, like highest up is Uno, and that's not really, gaming at our house, but it's something that board games do, which was a good thingy when you're really dealing with shit, like my family this year, meaning having lots and lots of appointments after surgery or chemo and stuff. You can have release with board games such as Uno and Quirkle and really have a nice time and get a good laugh or even a good time on the really shitty days. So that was a good gaming experience. My dad beating me at Uno after surgery, being on pain meds and everything's like, yeah, it's shitty, but yeah, it's good. So that was one. The other one involves your dad. Best ever gaming moment at the table, your dad at Automania. God, did I love it! It was like, yay!
I'm surprised it's not my dad cursing at his mom at Cooperative Games.
No, I really
was
loved
the same
him.
day,
I really loved him enjoying Automania that much. It's like him being so hesitant to playing the bigger games, or
the
only
car gets
having
the spoiler, and I need now the dice in the front.
Yeah, only having that much of an attention span, and then him going all in with his love for cars on that game and being really good at it. It's like, yeah, it's just, it's like makes my heart swell or whatever. And kind of surprising best gaming moment is meeting the guys from Two Tomatoes and being asked if we want to test play their game in the making. So
I don't know if we are allowed to talk about this.
No, I'm not talking about the game. It's just, but it's more like than the moment being asked if you want to playtest it and just, I'm a curious person, so seeing something that's still in the cooking process, already getting a sneak peek and being able to try it. That's just, it was sweet. So these were my best gaming moments of the year. And there's only a few more things to do before I think we can wrap this video up.
I think we can pick out some of these that we wanna talk about.
We hinted at the list of shame.
Things that we still certainly will play and will talk about is Tricarion, which finally arrived. So we'll probably, I have to read the rules and get into that soonish. I'm looking forward to trying Legendary Encounters Predator. You may have seen our talk about the Legendary Encounters Alien game, which I think both of us very much liked.
Yeah.
Despite little hiccups in the box not being complete, I can already tell you that the Predator box was fine.
Yay!
And it seems to change some things up in terms of you either play as the Predator or you try to, well, run away from him or them, which is pretty cool there. And last but not least, we played this game as a print and play German version, but now we got the proper German version, and I'm actually looking forward to trying this, which is called Agent Undercover. And if you're an English speaker, you probably know this as Spyfall, which finally arrived here. And we just need to get enough people together to play this a couple of times, but I'm very much looking forward to that. Although, if you already are familiar with this,
no surprise.
No surprise there. I think we talked about a couple of others. I think that one thing I want to call out is, or the games we probably will make a video about would be CS Files. Maybe talking a little bit closer about that.
Yeah, it's on we played it, but not shot a video yet.
Other games that probably will get a video, I hope so, is either Taverna. We probably make one about Fresco once we have a little bit more modules played.
Yeah.
Because we got the big box, and it's not the newest game, but I figured someone in this room really likes the theme of. So that's actually why I thought that she was going for Fresco instead of viticulture. But
I like the booze and then the painting.
I see.
No. Well, a few more stats. Guess how many different kinds of games we played this year. It's not how much we played in total, but like different games. 101. If you guessed it, congratulations! Yeah, we played 101 different games with a lot of time in either, like I said, at chemo or in hospitals after surgery and that shit. Uno got played most with 75 rounds. Then it's Quicks with 42, Love Letter with 30, and Coracle.
That just keeps on creeping up
yes,
on us.
I mean, creeps.
I wouldn't, if you would have asked me what game did we play the most, I probably would have said Love Letter because that's kind of the safe choice.
Yeah.
Then again, we play a lot of Quicks, and that kind of shows how mindlessly we can chuck dice.
Yeah. Then Coracle with 25, again, that's most of those rounds not played with him, but with my dad. Then 20 rounds of Dixit, 15 rounds of Code Names, 15 rounds of Mysterium.
And those are the kind of the new games for this year and already...
14 for the plays Imperial Assault and Hare and Tortoise, and then Mice and Mystic 11, and Sentinels of the Multiverse 10, and then it goes on to one-digit numbers of games, round games.
No surprise. So I was thinking about pushing Mice and Mystics up a bit more.
Yeah, but we gotta play the third book first.
No, not just that, because we played the first expansion, The Heart of Glom, for this year, which is Mice and Mystics. It's great fun. I ultimately went with Imperial Assault because we played that in the bigger group and that drew in more folks, and there was Mice and Mystics has some tension and I like it, but I actually kind of prefer, similar to Time Stories, to play it for the story, and the gameplay is just a vehicle for me to go through the story and enhance the experience. Imperial Assault is story, yes, but the game itself is also fun. So
combat.
Yeah, that one won out.
Two more funny stats. I do keep the pages, the scoring pages of any game that has a scoring page, and on Quicks, one of the most games played, the lowest ever score was done or achieved by this sweet love here.
Thank you.
9 points. But no, he's not horrible at this game because he also scored for the highest score ever. 193, no, 39, sorry, other way around. 139.
You could have said just 130 points more than
the lowest. And at Doodle City, I had the worst game with 16 points, and you had 70, so that's the highest score. Not in the same game, but
probably not the highest score someone has ever achieved. So these are our personal high scores, so you can see how bad we are at this. Fun fact: Doodle City also from the guys who made Automania.
Yeah. Well, it has cars in it as well.
Both
yellow cars.
Both having very appealing, and I hope I'm not saying this wrong, but that it is actually from the same guys. It's at least from the same publisher. I'm bad at this. I should be prepared.
Well, there's only 300 games in our...
Quick segue.
Yeah. Well, let me give you an outlook to the next year. This one here is our new calendar, and well, it's a gaming calendar, and we said
it says Scott King's calendar.
Yeah.
Who is not
related to us.
Not related, although
sadly.
Our last name is also King, at least in German.
Yeah, but what he got it for us again, just like last year. But what we're gonna do this year, since we own most of the games that are shown on those beautiful photographs in this calendar, we said we are going to play at least one round of whatever given game that a month shows within that month. So you will, if you have the calendar,
we should be able to play 12 different games as long as we have.
Yeah, or very similar ones. We don't have werewolf, but we do have resistance. What? Okay, you want to add more games?
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, well, there's Heroescape, you said, was not possible anymore.
That might be, although maybe we'll cop out and just pick up Magic the Gathering, the strategy game, and say this is close enough to Heroescape.
As Heroes. Yeah, so this is what's gonna happen in our household, and dictate at least one game a month. But I suspect that there will be played a lot more games than just those 12 different ones this year, because, well, we estimate that we will play pretty much 2 or 3 games a week, I guess, including the dinner games.
And with that, we will release you into 2016.
Yes, we are coming back on the 9th of January. There will not be a Gamers Couch next Sunday because you got to now, and I need a few days off to actually do admin work for my business. So can't shoot anything. Anyway, no, not you, video, I mean. So, thank you very much for watching. We hope you enjoyed this tiny review of the year. And you'll come back to this channel next year. Artwork videos, by the way, will start again on the 4th of January, Monday. So, give us a thumbs up and or share this video if you feel like it, if you think we added value to the internet. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already.
Just hit that stupid button. It doesn't matter if we edit anything.
How do you know the button is stupid? Maybe it's rather smart.
I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings, button. Now click it.
And thank you again for watching. Have a very good one. Be safe during New Year's Eve. And only drink so much booze.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Oh no, this face. Where's my clicky? There.